Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. With the Season 5 Reloaded update here in Warzone, we obviously saw various different buffs and nerfs to a handful of different guns in game, and today wanted to go through and break down the new top 10 best meta weapons and loadouts that you want to be using after this update. Starting first with one of my favorite combinations right now, the GPR and the C9, but I do want to go through quickly, run through the tactical, the lethal, the perks, the equipment here, because this is basically the same on every single loadout here, so we'll get this out of the way real quick. I'm still spamming smokes like crazy as my tactical. Instant concealment for everything, whether you need to rotate, revive, heal up, plate up, whatever the case is, smokes have you covered there. I'm a big fan of impact nades. That said, frags are really good. Semtex is really strong. If you're playing Rebirth, you want the insta finishes, go for throwing knives. Like, there's a lot of really good lethals in this game. It's really just a matter of preference. As far as perks go, I still love Survivor just for the faster regen here. You can also get that quicker revive as well. That's been my go-to for some time. Perk 2, I sort of bounce around a lot. Like Bomb Squad, so effective because I constantly run into mines. Everyone spams mines when I'm playing. If I walk into a building, there's two Bettys just sitting there waiting for me every single time. So Bomb Squad being able to counter that is huge for me. That said, something like Sprinter for infinite attack sprint solid, so you don't have to have your knife out. Quick Fix is also just so good as well. Being able to trigger that instant regen whenever you want. So that's a really nice one too if you're not always running into explosives like I am for whatever reason here. And then Gung Ho just so I can reload and tack sprint at the same time. Not too much changing there. That said, let's just focus on weapons for the remainder of this video. This GPR and C9 setup here. GPR, low recoil, easy to use, really strong mid to long range rifle. You could even build it out for sniper support as well, though in this case we're focused more on the long range. C9 up close, still frying. It got a slight nerf, but it's still a fantastic choice, especially in that first damage range here. For the GPR, our setup here is pretty straightforward. Use whatever optic you're the most comfortable with. For me, that's that Willis 3 times. I switch between this, the Jason Armory 2 times, Oturo Red Dot, Volsky Reflex, whatever I'm feeling on any given day, right? I've got monolithic suppressor on there, of course, for that better velocity and range, and obviously to keep us off the radar. Then I pair that with reinforced barrel for the better damage range and velocity as well. We end up with a 1209 velocity, so that's a phenomenal hit scan range, and then just over a 50 meter effective damage range as well. Vertical foregrip for better horizontal control, just makes this thing more of a laser beam. Then extended 2 here is going to be a 60 rounder. That'll work fine for all squad sizes. We jump over to the C9 here. It ain't broke, don't fix it, as they say. So not really a huge need to change things up here initially. Long barrel extending out our damage range. I use this on every single SMG. Basically, you want the best possible damage range, and 18.2 meters is really solid there. Ranger foregrip on here, some horizontal control, so the weapon's a little bit easier to use, but also you get some better sprinting movement speed, so that's huge. Extended 2, 50 rounder, working again fine for all squad sizes. I do like quick draw rear grip in this case, just for that snappier ADS. I kind of bounce back and forth with this, and then also an infiltrator stock for better strafe. Really just a matter of preference there though. And then recoil springs, free recoil control, never a bad thing there. So you can't go wrong with the GPR and the C9 combo. Next up, bit of a sniper loadout here, the HDR and the FFAR. This is one of the strongest combos in the game. I mean, the HDR is still that clear #1 long range sniper, infinite one-shot headshot, still really good velocity. It's just easy to use. It's super straightforward for a sniper there. And then the FFAR just absolutely shreds, especially in the close to mid-range here. So it's like the easily #1 sniper support choice in the game. It just absolutely melts everyone in that close to mid-range. So for the HDR, not too much change on this setup either. I like the default scope, so I do stick with that. Monolithic suppressor, all I care about here is the velocity. The damage range increase does not matter since it's already an infinite one-shot headshot. Gain twist barrel, helping out even more with velocity. Then overpressured ammo does more of the same here. So we got an 1184 velocity, and then of course that effective damage range doesn't matter in this case because it is that infinite one-shot headshot. Quick draw rear grip on here just to speed things up a little bit. We do have a 615 ADS, which is a little bit slower than some other snipers. It's not terrible because you're using this thing in long range, and the ADS speed is not the most important factor here by any means. Then lightweight bipod just reduces that sway, makes this thing a little bit easier to stay on target with. I just find myself to be way more accurate when I'm using this on there for sure. So HDR is still absolutely destroying over range. Then up close, the FFAR is just going to beam everybody here, especially in the mid-range and the close range here, where it's going to be a larger target you're fighting against. The recoil is not a huge concern like it could be at longer ranges. So I do go for the Oturo Red Dot. Nice little close range optic here. It works well, quite frankly, for all situations, but I like it here in the close range. Again, just preference there. Compensator to help out with some control, just making this thing a little bit easier to use. Vertical foregrip for the horizontal control. Again, makes it easier to use. Extended mag 2 here, 60 rounder. That'll work fine for all squad sizes and with this rate of fire. Then lastly, I do like the infiltrator pad on there for that better strafe. Just makes this thing a little bit more aggressive, which is never a bad thing for a close range option here. So this is a combination that just absolutely melts. And all ranges, you're covered basically. Next up here, kind of an interesting combo, the ABRA1, which yes, did get a nerf, but it's also still so easy over the long range that it's not really a huge deal. It's definitely not as good as it was before, frying in like the mid-range to bursting, but over long range, low recoil, good velocity, it's still going to be a very efficient long range gun. Definitely one that doesn't have a large like entry barrier outside of the burst fire rates. And I actually pair this with the new aftermarket part on the PPSH-41. It's got some asterisks to take note of, at least at the time of recording this, but still is an interesting way to build out the PPSH. But for the ABR here, pretty standard rifle setup, monolithic suppressor for range and velocity, reinforced barrel for more of the same. We got an 1195 velo, that's fantastic. 60 meter effective damage range is really good too. Vertical foregrip just eliminates any potential horizontal bounce basically. Like this thing is a laser beam if there ever was one. Extended 2 here, 60 rounder, works fine for all squad sizes. And then where I can use it, might as well rock the infiltrator pad stock for that better strafe. Again, never a bad option to have some better mobility there, especially on a gun like this. So this thing shoots straight, it's very easy. You just got to get used to that burst delay and you'll be set there. Even after the nerf, it's still very reliable. So on this PPSH, we are using the helical mag. I do want to preface, at the time of recording this, there is a bug where you can't get more ammo with this. I'm hoping it's a bug at least, otherwise you just get 200 shots and that's it. But you can't reload it as it stands, which is really frustrating because it's a cool way to build out the PPSH. So hopefully they do fix that. It's going to add in better control, better hip fire spread, better strafe as well. And you just have to worry about it not overheating, which you can just stop shooting for like a split second. It'll cool down some and you can spray and pray and not have to worry about stopping to reload, which is really, really cool. Keeps the same damage profile as is as well. In addition to that, compensator just for better control, makes the gun easier to use. Long barrel extends our damage range out to 16.5 meters on there. Agility stock for some strafe and a better ADS speed, so it's more aggressive in a couple of different ways there. And then recoil springs for that free recoil control. So hoping they do go and adjust the helical mag some. Maybe even by the time this video is out, I'll update the pinned comment if they do. But yeah, definitely a different way, but still effective way to build out the PPSH if you've got ammo. By the way, as we are breaking down all the weapons and setups here today, if you guys enjoy the video, you find it helpful, be sure to drop a like on it. It's always seriously appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, you want to ensure that each and every single day you're up to date with all things going on in COD, no better place than right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. Next up, a pretty fun combo, the Kilo, which got some solid buffs with Season 5 Reloaded, and the LC-10, which was nerfed a little bit back at the start of Season 5, but it's still a really solid SMG, especially in that first damage range, which you're going to be using it in for the most part here. Kilo's a laser beam. This gun is so easy to use. You can really make this thing very effective here. I like the Otero red dot personally. Again, just a matter of preference here though. Monolithic suppressor, reinforced barrel for that better range of velocity. 1357 velocity without overpressured is so solid there, and nearly a 62 meter effective damage range as well. Vertical foregrip for that better horizontal control and recoil stabilization. Then extended 2 here is going to be a 60. Extended 3 is a 70 now after the nerf. I just don't really feel the need for those extra 10 bullets for the slowdown that's going to come with it. So 60 is sufficient for all squad sizes as is, and that'll work just fine. Then for the LC-10, first up here, I do have the compensator, just helping out with some control, makes the gun a little bit easier to use. Stay on target, nice and easy there. Long barrel, nearly a 15 meter effective damage range is decent there. Could be better. Other SMGs will have better ranges, but this thing still kills pretty quick in that first damage range. Extended 2 here for our magazine, 55 rounder, working fine there. Infiltrator stock, I again really do like that strafe speed on here a lot. If you want a snappier build though, you could switch that out for quick draw rear grip. And then recoil springs for that free recoil control yet again here. So even despite the nerf back at the start of the season, this thing is still plenty capable of holding its own. Next combination, we've got the AMAX, one of the best TTK guns in the entire game. Also caught a slight buff with Season 5 Reloaded, which is solid, and the Saug, which also got a little bit of a range buff and mobility buff with Season 5 Reloaded. So this whole class setup is better than it was, you know, a day or so ago, which is really cool to see. So on the AMAX here, again, first up, Otero red dot. I know, huge surprise, right? Compensator here, I'd love to rock monolithic, but this thing does have noticeable recoil. If you want this thing to fry, you have to hit your shots. And sometimes with monolithic on there, you might not hit as many as if you had compensator. So I do go the safe route here, and I use that compensator for the better control. Reinforced barrel, we're still up at an 1100 velocity, which is plenty good for big map or resurgence here. 63 meter effective damage range, sitting pretty there. Vertical foregrip for the horizontal control, helping out more with that predictability. And then extended 2 here, going to be a 60 rounder, all set there for solos, duos, trios, and quads. Then on the Saug, I really do love the way that this thing feels. This is my run and gun build for it. So we got the long barrel on here, gives us a 16.5 meter effective damage range. I do a good bit of hip fire with the Saug. I don't know why, it just kind of feels good there. So I do a lot of transition with the hip fire to ADS. The G grip benefits that quite a bit with the better accuracy. Plus, you're still getting better horizontal control on there too. Extended mag 2 here, going to be a 55 rounder. It does have a 909 RPM, so the damage per mag's not insane, but it's the best you've got, so you got to make it work. Commando rear grip for the better ADS and sprint to fire, so we're helping out with a lot of mobility there. Then again, recoil springs for that free recoil control. You can't say no to free control. All right, folks, we're in for a treat today because I've got my hands on the brand new Formula 2.0 from GFUEL. So here's the deal. I've got a classic little hype sauce packet here. One of my all-time favorite flavors, the raspberry lemonade. It's top 3, no question about it. I've got the new and improved hype sauce flavor. We're gonna do a little taste test, 1 to 1, see which one comes out on top. All right, first up, I present the classic hype sauce flavor. Like I said, this is already one of my favorites. I know what I'm expecting here, but for the sake of the taste test, I mean, it's a classic. It's good. I know exactly what I'm getting, and it's phenomenal. But I'm really curious to see what our brand new hype sauce flavor tastes like here. First try. Haven't had it before in my life. It's good. It's good. Aesthetically, not much of a difference. The color is pretty. You can't deny that. If anything, I will say this new hype sauce 2.0, the new and improved flavor and formula, feels a little bit lighter. It's a little bit nicer there. I like it. And that raspberry lemonade flavor, like I said, there's a reason I think it's a top 3 flavor. If you know, you know. Just going 1 to 1 here. I know as I'm looking at them already, I'm probably gonna have to shake this one maybe a little bit more as I'm drinking through. I don't think I'm gonna have to do that with this. I can just keep sipping on it however long I need, feeling nice and refreshed and energized. So hey, if you want to grab the new and improved GFUEL flavor hype sauce, I cannot recommend enough. This thing is the GOAT here. Be sure to throw in code immortal. That'll save you some money. Link is going to be in the description below if you're interested. Next up, another sniper loadout here. We've got the Victus XMR, which also has an infinite one-shot headshot. It just has a little bit different stats elsewhere than the HDR. So the velocity is a little bit different. The ADS is a little bit different. It's going to be a matter of preference. Do you like the feel of the Victus more or the HDR more? Of course, any other sniper you might want to cycle in here, you could absolutely do so. And I paired this with the PPSH just in a standard version without the helical mag. Pretty solid build here too, and it's really effective in the close range with a decent damage range, then a pretty effective second damage range as well. So for the Victus here, first up, I do go for the 6.6 times optic. I'm not a fan of the default scope. It's a little bit too zoomed in for me. I'm way more accurate with this thing, but that's simply a preference thing for me. Spirit fire suppressor, what we care about here the most is that velocity. Same deal with the super barrel, helping out the velocity, and then also the damage range, not going to matter there with that one-shot headshot at any range. And then high velocity ammo, you're never going to believe this, actually increases the velocity stats. So we know with the 994, like I said, it's going to be worse than the HDR there, but this thing's also a little bit more aggressive. We got a 569 ADS thanks to the Rise 50 stock on here, speeding things up. So it's a little bit more aggressive than the HDR. Still can infinite one-shot at, or one-shot headshot, I should specify, at 50 meters or 250 meters, so long as you're landing the shot. So learn that bullet drop and that bullet lead, and you'll be set with this thing. And then for the PPSH, it's going to be a decently similar setup to what we were rocking before, but here we got the long barrel on here, again, extending out that damage range, 16.5 meters. Because we can use an underbarrel, I go for the G grip. I do a lot of hip fire here as well. We're using extended 2, which is a 71 round mag. Works fine for all squad sizes. 952 RPM, you're spraying and praying there for sure. Agility stock for the better ADS and strafe, and then recoil springs yet again. So if you're comfortable with the control here, you're comfortable with the irons, this thing can be a really effective sniper support sub. After that, I've got the Cypher and the Ladra. The Cypher was nerfed a little bit with Season 5 Reloaded. It's not a nerf that's going to absolutely kill it. It's not going to be as effective over the long range, but this again is still a very low entry barrier gun. So low recoil, easy to use still. It's going to be one that is familiar, and of course, if you've been rocking it, you like the feel of it as opposed to a different rifle that's maybe got a faster TTK but is harder to use. This is going to be a nice fallback option here. And the Ladra is just a fantastic SMG. Super good range, super good TTK up close. It's nice and aggressive as well. I love it. It's one of my favorite guns in the game. For the Cypher build here, again, we've got the Oturo red dot, or at least I've got the Oturo red dot on here. Monolithic suppressor, and of course, reinforced barrel for the better range of velocity. 1238 velo, 52 meter effective damage range on there. Vertical foregrip for that better horizontal control, making this thing a lot more accurate, just easy to use over some of those longer ranges. Then extended to 60 rounder, working fine for all squad sizes here. You mix this with the Ladra, you've got your close range covered. Long barrel on here for that better damage range, 16.8 meters with a pretty minimal drop off beyond that. Ranger foregrip for some better control and some better mobility. A little bit of best of both worlds there. Extended to here, going to be a 66 rounder. We do have a 1071 RPM, so you rip through ammo here. Again, the damage per mag stat's not insane, but it's sufficient. And that's what matters at the end of the day. Quick draw rear grip for that snappier ADS. Then I find the gun easy to use, so I don't even opt for recoil springs here. I go for the infiltrator stock for the better strafe. Get the better ADS and the better strafe here, and this thing is just absolutely insanely aggressive. You can run and gun, spray and pray, and just frag out up close, and then switch to that Cypher for the long range and pick off enemies that way. Really fun combo. We do have one final sniper loadout I want to talk about here, and it's with the LR762 and the KSV, which got another buff here, one of the better sniper support SMGs as well. I found this to be a little bit easier to use than the PPSH, and so I do kind of lean towards this, but they're both solid options for sniper support subs. Keep in mind the LR762 cannot one-shot headshot infinitely, but it's got a pretty generous one-shot range, one that you're going to take a lot of fights in. So here, the damage range that we're getting out of Monolithic and the velocity both matter, so that's pretty important. And then long barrel, its damage range is also very important. We got a 104 meter effective damage range, so that's where we can one-shot headshot. If you were to go in game and ping what 104 meters is, that's a lot of gunfights you're realistically going to get into. We do have a 1269 velocity here because I am rocking overpressured ammo, so the bullet drop and bullet lead is going to be really, really easy. Quick draw rear grip for that snappier ADS, we're down to a 546, and then also fast mag 2 will help out with that a little bit as well. It knocks your mag size down by 1, so you got 4 shots instead of 5, but hey, technically speaking, if your shot's on, that's a full squad wipe in one magazine, and then you can go ahead and reload and move on to the next. So yeah, this thing still feels fantastic as always. Then the KSV here for sniper support. I do want compensator on here just to make it a little bit more accurate, especially on an iron sight based build. Long barrel for that better damage range. We're out to 20 meters on a sub, which is just phenomenal there for sure, and obviously especially good for sniper support builds. Ranger foregrip for better mobility. You can close the gap on enemies a little bit faster, and better control, of course. Extended to 50 rounder here. It's only an 800 RPM, so by comparison, not really concerning there with the DPM stat. And then I kind of like balanced stock for the better movement, a little bit of strafe, some hip fire movement speed as well. You could also switch out for infiltrator too if you wanted to, though, and get the better strafe outright. Not a, bad decision there by any means. It's totally preference at the end of the day, which stat value you value the most. But yeah, really solid sniper support complement to any sniper you want to run. And then to close things out, I do have 2 gunfighter loadouts I want to feature here. The first of which is the XMG. This thing hits like a truck over range. It's one of the easiest guns to use in the entire game. Super low recoil, and it just melts at the same time. Not often do you have a really low recoil and high damage gun. This is one of the best options we've got. Obviously, with gunfighter, you don't get a real secondary, so I just rock the Grakova pistol. I try and get a second loadout and switch out to a true SMG, or I pick up one off the ground or something. On here though, I'd rock rapid fire, weighted stock, extended 3 long barrel compensator. It's got like that hybrid ADS, which is kind of weird. It's not quite tac stance, not quite ADS or hip fire. It's interesting. It works as like a pocket SMG, but I'd much rather opt for like a C9 or something else there instead. We care more about the XMG here though. Again, I've got Otero red dot on here. Monolithic suppressor, better range and velocity. Reinforced barrel, better range and velocity. We got an 1166 velo. We got a 118 meter effective damage range. Like I said, this thing absolutely melts over range. Vertical foregrip makes this thing even easier to use with better horizontal control. Fast mag 1, 75 round mag. That's plenty of ammo still, and you get a slightly faster reload. This thing is slow and heavy because it's an LMG, obviously, so that helps out some. Quick draw rear grip, again, speeds it up because it's a slow and heavy LMG here. Buffer weight stock, unique to only a couple of guns here. Really like it. Just makes this thing even more of a laser beam. When I tell you this is the easiest gun to use in the game with this setup, I'm not capping here. Lastly, recoil springs. Speaking of more recoil control, the more the merrier in this case. This thing shoots so straight, it's utterly absurd. Slow and heavy, you gotta really get used to that play style, but you can fry at any range. And then lastly here, I've got the AK-74, also caught some pretty nice buffs with Season 5 Reloaded here. Same Grakova setup we just covered, so no need to focus on that again. I know this is gonna come as a shocking statement, but I am using the Otero red dot on this for one final time today. I do use the compensator here because this thing has a lot more recoil than other meta guns in the game. I just find that that accuracy so valuable here as opposed to monolithic, so I am sticking with that. Gain twist barrel though to get some of that velocity back. We're up to 1300 with this, so that hit scan range is going to be great, and the effective damage range 43.5 meters basically is already pretty solid as is. If you want to try out reinforced, you still have a 1086 velocity and over 50 meters on that effective damage range, so that'd be something worth monitoring as well. Vertical foregrip, more horizontal control, keeping this thing predictable. Extended 360 rounder, max ammo option here, more ammo the merrier in this case. Quick draw rear grip for that faster ADS, infiltrator stock for the better strafe, just helps make things be a little bit more aggressive. You've got 8 attachments, you might as well use them all, right? Then recoil springs, yet again, you absolutely need as much recoil control here as you can get. This is basically the max recoil version, or max control version, I should say, of the AK, but hey, it gets the job done. All these options here today are fantastic. You can mix and match as needed, you know, switch things out, tweak things, obviously use this as sort of like a basis for what to go with, and then if you need to tweak for your preference, your play style, go ahead, do so. But hopefully you guys found the information helpful, the video enjoyable. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.